morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Constance.
Morning,
Constance. Pretty bad.
So it is our time. So let's start with a quick prayer. Master Jesus, here we are once more together around Kardec's teachings to understand better who we are, understand better mediumship, and understand better the possibilities we all have to practice charity through this wonderful tool that's mediumship. That we all here together today could be blessed by your eyes, by your light, by your love. Be with us today and always. So be it.
So be it.
So let me start sharing the book. So today we start with item 305. Let me just close this here. If someone has really understood what we have stated about conditions required to serve as interpreters for good spirits, the multiple causes that can repel them, the circumstances which, apart from the spirit's will, might be obstacles to their manifestation, and finally, all the conditions of a moral nature that can influence communications, how could he or she believe that a spirit, even if it is of the lowest order, would at all time be under the orders of paid mediums and the subject to their demands, to answers the curiosity of the first inquisitor who came along? I'll stop here a bit. This first part here is in line with what we saw last week, right? But it's also important to highlight two things in this test. Have we really understood what mediumship is? And this is for us. Do we know all the conditions required to be good interpreters? That's another important question. Do we know how to repel bad spirits? Things like that are constant in our path as a medium. Because sometimes we forget a bit what mediumship is for. Sometimes, regardless of what we know, we forget what to do. The whole aim of this study that we are doing for a couple of years now is to allow us to fully understand what mediumship is for. Mediumship scares people, panic people, but there's any reason behind that to justify that? What are the conditions to be good interpreters? And when I mean good interpreters, are not being channeling high elevated order spirits. That's not what I meant. Good interpreters are those that are prepared themselves 24/7 to be a medium, to be in conditions to work as a medium. And through this initial part here, he highlights moral. Because you cannot be a good interpreter if you're not paying attention on your moral aspects. They come together. They really come together. There are mediums and mediums. There are mediums that believe they just need to go there once a week or once a month or whatever, for an hour, and that's it. When they leave the premises, they start to do everything that we do not recommend. And there are mediums that decide to orientate their lives with good principles, good actions, good choices. So what kind of medium do we want to be? A good one or not so good one? These are things that we always have to keep in mind. Because even if I'm a good one today, tomorrow I may fall into a trap and decide willingly to do things that are not that positive. And then I will compromise my good abilities as medium. There are things that do not work side by side with mediumship. We all spoke about that here many times. I'm not going to be repeating myself, but we know what means be a good person or not be a good person. We know what is good, what is not good. We all know. Our choices is a different thing. We may choose to ignore some of those things, but then it's up to the individual. And now going back to what we have spoken last week and this thing here in the beginning, how can we expect that a spirit is 100% available to someone to be asking questions at a non very serious depth? Because when we go to a medium, that is most of the time, when we go to a medium paying for some information, we don't want to know things that are very, very important in a moral scheme of things. You want to know things that are important for us, and sometimes even material things that has nothing to do with what we're supposed to be looking into a mediumship. Saying that, even if we do have a medium that used to charge for the work, as they call, even if initially we have a spirit giving answers that are positive, along the way that will change. Along the way that will become a commerce, will become a business. And elevated spirits do not participate in such a thing. So why do we want to go to a place where the answers that will be given may not be that right or not positive, or even misleading my thoughts to make bad decisions, bad choices? Why do we do that? In our mediumship meetings, from time to time, we see those mediums, discarnated mediums, mediums that used to practice the commerce, the business of mediumship. They come to the meeting and they are not in good shape. They have a hard time to understand why they are not in good shape, because they believe they are doing good things. And they believe they can charge to sustain themselves, to maintain the house, to maintain their lifestyle. And when they go to the other side, they realize that things are, oh, I thought I was doing a good thing. So we have that feedback through the mediumship meetings to the people that may not want to believe that, right? If we understand the aversion good spirits hold for anything that has a smell of avarice, unselfishness about it, and the little importance they attach to material matters, how could we possibly believe that they would help those who intend to make business of their manifestations? Again, it's very clear the message. Good spirits will not be part of it. We have, I don't remember where right now, But we have an event where one spirit came and he was saying that he was really attacked, a medium after being discarnated, he had been really attacked by the spirits he was working with before and by the consulants. Yes, by the consulants, because some of them were so disappointed with the feedback they had that when they discarnated, they decide to get a kind of revenge from the medium himself. So it is a very serious matter. And again, good spirits will not entertain that kind of thing. Doesn't matter who you may hear, who you may want to believe, but they do not. And then we have the free will to do what we want. I've seen a few times, even mediums, even spiritists who know what we're talking about here, going to some places that they pay money to hear blah, blah, blah. So that means that everything they learn, everything they see is not sufficient to convince them. And they went. So we are humans. That's fair enough. We are humans. But once we understand that nothing bad comes from the good spirits, and things that are not that good may come from spirits that are not that positive, we should avoid it, at least. The idea is repugnant to reason, and one would have to know next to nothing about nature of the spirit world, to accept such a thing. In US, we see mediums on TV. I watch from time to time people that make really a fair amount of money with that. You know, for the great majority of people, possibly they think, "Well, that's massive." You know, if I'm a medium, I can do that thing as well. I can have a nice car, a nice home, a nice villa, whatever. But they do not know the consequences of it. And unfortunately, if they like or not, one day when they discarnate, they will be facing the consequences. However, since frivolous spirits are less scrupulous and look for occasions to amuse themselves at our expense, it might be that if we are not fooled by a fake medium, it is quite possible to be fooled by some of these spirits. These simple considerations provide us with a measure of confidence to be given to those types of communication. But why resort to paid mediums nowadays if the faculty may be found among family members, friends, acquaintances at no cost if we ourselves do not possess it? In this part here, even if I know a medium in my family, as is suggesting here, or in my friendship circles, I will not be asking things because it's not for that. A medium is not for that. If something is coming unexpectedly, or a spirit freely pass a message through one medium, is something else. But when we start to chase the information, when we want to hear something, when we want to get a message from a loved one or else, then we may be caught in a situation that we will not be able to identify if it is or not. We are emotionally attached to the situation, so anything that may come, we will be inclined to accept as true. And when we want too much one thing is exactly when those spirits he was describing here as less scrupulous may find a way to have fun with us. So we need to understand mediumship. And I think it was Munir who said last week that exactly because of those uncontrolled people asking mediums, people making business, blah, 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 that Moses at the time had to stop that thing. So nowadays it's the same. Of course, we are in a different situation, a different time, but the principle is the same. Any questions, any comment before we move on? Good. So it means that everybody understood everything.
Yes.
Mediums for hire are not only those who ask for payment. Keep that in mind. Mediums for hire are not only those who ask for payment. Such self-interest does not always appear as an ambition for material profit, but also as a pretense of any kind that may support personal desires. And nowadays, what could be a good example for that? What do you think? No one think about anything?
I'm not sure if I understood it. Okay, Cristina.
Okay, so let's
Be
read
in
again.
the spotlight. To be admired.
Mm.
Adulation.
Mhm.
I think what came to my mind is just not mediums. I think even like speakers. I mean, spirituals nowadays, there's so much content on the internet that sometimes, I wonder if some of them is not do because of that as well, to have spotlight, to have the attention, or because they want to add that to their CV. I don't know. Anything that people may do. I think at the end of the day, we always believe that God knows intention and goes behind whatever intention the person has. But yeah, I think any work that you may do, if you are not just mediums, but anything that the intention is not pure, is not there for to help the others, is in the same situation in here. Self-interest.
Indeed. Hi, Christine.
Hi, I was just going to say self-interest, for, something that may support personal desires is self-interest. Yes, exactly right.
Nowadays, we have tools that help us a lot to go on that track. We have Facebook, we have TikTok, we have Instagram. I truly believe there are some people that are really not interested in anything back. But I believe that are also people that may have a different purpose when they trying to get followers. Because we know that followers make money. We know that followers may buy anything you may suggest. You brought, here we are speaking about mediums, but Denise, you are 100% right. The same medias I'm talking here is for mediums, and it is for people that do lectures or people that do studies or anything else. Because let's say what we are doing here. On the end of every meeting we have, every study we have, I start to show you 3 books that I'm very keen to supply those books. In my mind, I may be totally wrong, but in my mind, I'm already connecting this to a commerce, to a business. I particularly don't like that. Don't like that at all. I feel uncomfortable with that. Sometimes even when we participate in things like that, I feel personally uncomfortable. But there's another thing. Someone may start really not interested on any type of gain or fame or spotlight, like we like to say, things like that. But through the process, the pride, the feeling of being followed by hundreds and hundreds, that may push us in a bad direction as well. We are humans. And as such, we could be inclined for things. I'm not saying it's bad for the person. I feel loved, I feel empowered, I feel, how many different words you may decide to say. So the feeling of the person may be okay for her or him, but we may be falling into a trap. I'm not going to mention names here, but we have examples on the Spiritism of people who started doing something very positive, very, very, very positive. A decade later, start to deviate. And today, I wouldn't recommend anymore, as an example. It's not just one, there are few cases we can think about that. So we need to be very careful. The indirect way of payment could be anything. Could be anything. And we hear quite often from the good spirits that they will be with us as long as we remain with no interest or anything else other than practice the charity. So that means that if along the way I start to deviate, those spirits who are working with us, they will also deviate. I even accept that for a period of time, they will remain together, trying to give good intuitions, trying to convince the medium or the person to change to what it should be. But after a period of time, when they realize that, well, it's not going to be there, we're not going to be able to do the same work together again. The person now is really looking into something else. They will go away. And what's going to happen to that person, depending on what he or she does? He will feel that those spirits are no longer there. But then he may be open to any kind of spirits just to keep up the status quo, just to keep up the number of followers, just to keep up the lifestyle they used to have. So we need to be very careful, right? This is one of the weaknesses that mocking spirits know very well how to exploit. Skillfully and astutely taking advantage of it and luring those who fall under the influence into deceptive illusion. In a mediumship meeting, we may have one medium who really wants to be a good medium, really wants to be the medium. That's enough to allow them to get closer. And then the medium may start to have strange reactions, strange situations, strange feelings. And even when we try to warn the medium, it will not work, because the medium is so much into that thing, because I need to be the number one. Like, it can become an obsession case. It can become something very serious to the medium himself and to the group. Hi, Osoli.
When you say this, Guilherme, I see how mediumship is so important, so serious. I can't understand that people can what can I say in English? Use this way to make money, because it's not so clear. Actually, we must give without nothing back. They say, and I think it's so clear. And this is a mediumship is something. I am a little medium, only me too. Maybe I choose. Maybe it's not so good at talk about now, but here in Sweden, we meet people that in a big what's his name? A big social event. And this is every year they have this a big event in Stockholm, and to help organization. And when we are there, and some years ago, I stopped this because I couldn't. I would like, but I couldn't. Oh. And it was, I couldn't because my health was not so good and I must follow my doctor. And there, the people there, spirits was there too. We had the medium's book there too, because many people would like to buy. They was interested, and that's an attracted. No, people, Swedish people were attracted about medium's book, occult, or some. And man, there was one. Some I think I learned. I could understood at I can't say all people would like to buy this one, and there's a medium to make money with a mediumship. And I only said because I had a few to say, yeah, as mediumship is is a sacred. So we use this to help people, to help our next. And oh, she was so hungry with me, so hungry. This girl, woman, we spiritualist. We do what you want. You can't. I said, oh, excuse me. And she bought a book, and maybe in this time now she left. Oh, she reads this one we read now, and then this is what lacks a very good class to me. I never say things to anybody. They do what they want to do. So yes, I learned. I learned in English, in Swedish. I understood that we must be calm and shut up. So
We
thank
we
you.
understand.
Mm.
Did anybody else start to talk when I? No. Okay. We understand that everybody has a free will, can't do anything. The point is that we don't do. That's the thing, right? This subject is very subtle. Harmony.
Oh, hi, Guilherme. Hi, everyone. Go on, Guilherme.
This
Yeah.
subject is very subtle then, because sometimes we use, I need to promote the sale of books, for example. Who wrote the book? Was it a spirit? I don't remember Kodak establishing that we were the owners of the book. Not at all. We have good examples like Chico Xavier. He didn't get a penny from this 422 books he wrote. And now people are saying that he's even more than 422 books. He didn't get a penny back. And that's the way it's supposed to be. For many people, Spiritism become like an institution. I need to have money in the bank account. I need to have this. I need to have that. And I always advocate that. It's fair enough if you do have a bit of money just to pay the water bill, the electricity bills, no more than that. When you start to have money in your bank account, it's time to do charity. Get the money, buy food, distribute food on the streets, buy clothes for those that cannot afford to buy clothes on anything else. Because this is business. And Spiritism should not be part of it, right? And when I am writing books, let's say I will write one book, I will not get one penny from it. If I'm writing a book, if I'm a psychographer and I'm getting a book from the spirit, I will not get a penny from it. Not at all. And I will do my best to make it available to the people, not to pay for things like that. I understand that to print, to do distributions, to everything has a cost. I fully appreciate and understand. But Spiritism is not a business. Spiritism is a means to make the information arrive to people that need. And when we turn anything into a business, it's exactly when we fall. Hi, Munir.
Hi, Amy. I want to take this opportunity now just to mention that what Kardec is doing here is not presenting us the penal code of mediumship. No, he's providing us elements that we individually make up our mind. So it's not for us to work as a police and say, you charging, you are heretics. No, we have our free will. The spirits respect that. Kardec respects that very much. So he analyzes the subject. He presents all the arguments, the elements for us to make the conclusion. I could even draw a parallel to the pandemic, where we were advised, and sometimes imposed, of course, but let's forget that. We were advised to wear facial masks when we were, outside. Does it mean that if I don't wear a mask, I'll get the disease? 100% sure. No, but you're running the risk much higher than if you do. Regarding mediumship, it's the same thing. Kardec is showing us the consequences of doing it this way, that way, what can happen, what we are exposing ourselves to. But as I said before, it's not a penal code. You do that, you'll be punished with this. You do the other way, you'll be punished or receive a recompense for the way you are doing things. No, he's just presenting us, and we individually choose. And we choose, and we face the consequences. No, I'll go to the supermarket and not wear a mask, face mask. Well, you are more inclined to acquire the disease. You'll be exposed more than if you take all the precautions you were advised to take before going out. I see it that way,
And I share the same opinion with you. For me, it's exactly the same. It's like I'm a carnivore and you are a vegan. We'll be together. We'll have lunch together. We're going to go to a movie together. But when the time comes to have a meal, I will choose one with meat and you choose one without meat. And that's it. We can be friends. We can be part of the same group, the same circles. It's just that I know what I should be doing. In case you asked, I may be sharing my opinion with you, but I will not be trying to convince you of anything else. You have your own beliefs and you have the free will to do whatever you see fit.
Indeed.
You need to have that in mind. And I don't know if I mentioned that here. I probably did. I'm married for a long time, and was at least after 10 years of my marriage, being together with her, that because she asked, I've spoke about Spiritism with her. I could see indications of mediumship. I could see things, but this is respect. We have to respect other people's point of view as well. When she came and said, well, I think I need some help. Here I am. Let's do something. And then we did. There was like 10 years at least that I was a spiritist because I was born a spiritist. But she wasn't. She was scared. She had fears. So I had no problem with that. Not at all. I have 2 kids. One of my kids, he's really much into the same thing we are. And my daughter is not. She's scared. She's afraid. I respect everything, you know? So that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Hi, Denise.
I don't know what we were talking about. Espiritu Santo to have money in the bank. Look, I agree with everything, but sometimes, if, for example, like in UK, we haven't got any building, nothing, you know, probably. I think I spoke for you. Like sometimes, if you want to build, not to build, like because in Brazil, all the centers normally they have a building where things happen. Here, especially in London, we have so many small groups everywhere. If they want to have like a center and to get money, they would need money to be able to buy something. I know that would be a risk, but wouldn't that be okay? I mean, where they want a building for their their location.
Let me start saying that I never said that was not okay. I said that I am.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
I am uncomfortable, right? And even back in Brazil, those centers came from somewhere or from someone.
Yeah.
Okay. So nothing is for free. Nothing's for free. What I don't feel is all right is to be saving money, having thousands of any currency you like on the bank, because that could be a risk. That could be a risk.
Without a purpose, yeah? Sorry, you have all this money, but we have no purpose to use it.
Yes. Right. Back in Brazil is a situation where it's way more affordable to buy a plot of land. It's way more affordable to build things. And we gave a lot of money to do things like that over there. We do. But back in Brazil is a small amount of people who do that. And there are hundreds who benefit without participating on that, right? Because they can't or because they don't want. That's not the point.
Yeah.
Here is a different situation where people want to have rent a room for a period of time or something. So be it. It's up to the individuals. What I think is very risky is to have a substantial amount of money where you are not focusing that into charity. You may be focusing that into something else, and then become a business, and then become a power grid where people start to fight for their positions. It's very complicated. As I said, I'm not saying I'm against it. I said I feel uncomfortable. There are people who may feel perfect. They see fit, and I don't. How many?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it depends on your project. If you have a project, for instance, you want to have your own premises, you want to build a school, for instance, you need to save money. But that money already has a purpose, But the problem is the surplus, the amount of money that is there, and, it's not part of a project. It's just money that stays in a saving account, and you're thinking of, raising more and more, this is the problem. But if you have, of course, if you want to do something, you need to save some money. So you have some money in your bank account, but you already have a project within the context of your activities as a spiritist center, as a spiritist union, whatever. But the problem is you only have money for the sake of having, a big savings account, and then there's no destination clear for that money. There's no purpose, no project. Then some people may see that as unnecessary. You could be doing more with that money than just keeping it in the bank.
Thank you.
It is an opportunity for a fall. Power and money. They are the main 2 things that make us fall. So we need to be careful with that. Hi, Osuli.
I think about what Munir said. Jesus knows us. He knows our heart and our intention and our feelings. So if I know that I can sleep very well that night, so I think everything is right. So I think me, actually, I must think about responsibility, about this knowledge, how I use, and especially about money. Money is, like Munir said, of course it's all right. I think so. But to use it to be rich, or to buy something, now I can change my car. Of course, it is very, very. I think I will buy a big, big obsession, and maybe disease too. So this I think about. Sorry.
Thank you. Hi, Camila.
No, I would just say that when I think in what you are saying, right? I think everything that we study from Allan Kardec, they never say you are punished, right? Because that is the new thing that the Spirit of Truth bring it to us. Start to think about, start to make questions in a more rational way. So I understand that what you are trying to say is like we are flows, right? So it's like in the Bible, Jesus says something like it's easier pass a big animal in a small hole than someone that is very rich going in the in the sky. I don't know how is the right phrase in English, but that is because when money, having money is also a hard duty, right? Because what do you do when you have money? When you came from the earth and you has money, when you came into the earth and you has power to change the life of the others, right? You'll be accountable about the things that you did. You did good things, you did bad things, you just promote the evil, or it's also a hard thing when we came in here, right? So I understand what you're trying to say is if I start to save a lot of money, if I start to make the house that is supposed to be charged a place where people start to fight by positions, by any kind of take advantage, anything is risk, right? You are risking going in our own flaws. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It does. Just one thing to be clear, Spiritism does not forbid us to do anything. We have religions who forbid you to do this, forbid that, blah, blah, blah. We have creeds that say you cannot do that. Spiritism doesn't. Spiritism just point out what could be the consequences of you doing so. But if you want to do, that's fine. It's on you. Right? So again, Spiritism does not forbid us to do anything. What time is it? We still have 15 minutes. So in sum, mediumship is granted for practicing the good. And the good spirits withdraw from anyone who intends to transform it into a means for reaching anything contrary to the designs of providence. This sentence can be clearer. Mediumship is granted for practicing the good, and the good spirits withdraw from anyone who intends to transform it into a means to reaching anything contrary. So that's what I was saying that earlier today, that We do have examples in the Spiritism where people start really being very sharp and over the decades lost the plot and then become something else. So we all can be facing the same situation. No one here is perfect, but we need to be aware that we have to do our best to avoid that. Selfishness is the scourge of society, and good spirits strive against it constantly. Therefore, one should never suppose that spirits would ever want to aid it. This is so reasonable that it would be needless to insist on the matter. Very clear. Physical effect mediums belongs to another category. We've spoken already about this type of mediumship, right? Such effects are usually produced by low-order spirits in fewer scruples, with fewer scruples. This sentence here, low-order spirits, doesn't mean they are bad. And this sentence here gives a lot of discussions amongst the spiritists, because low-order spirits, in my humble opinion, are spirits that are still much closer to the matter than high elevated spirits. That's it. Doesn't mean they are good, they are bad. They are just closer to the matter. And why we use them? Because they have what is required to do physical manifestations. Because they still closer to the matter and they have the properties required to do so. This does not imply that these spirits are necessarily evil. However, a person may be simply a porter, but yet be very honest. Mediums of this type who desire to exploit their faculty could easily find a spirit to assist them without much hesitation. However, even in this case, there is a problem. Physical effects, mediums, like those who provide intellectual communications, have received their ability for good purpose and not for their own personal satisfaction. If they abuse it, they could lose it or be harmed by it. Pay attention, be harmed by it. Because in reality, less evolved spirits are under the order of highly evolved ones. And then, how can I benefit from physical effects phenomena? I will attract people. I will start to charge a small fee to people to come to the theater to see what I'm doing. Or nowadays, I start to show on TikTok things I can do, and the medium can do anything. The medium is just a vector. Any mediumship phenomena is produced by the spirits. The medium is just a vector. So, yes, human beings can always find a way to do things good, not so good. We can turn things that are positive into something that's not that positive.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well done.
Sit up then.
Yeah.
Little evolved spirits love to deceive, but they themselves do not like to be deceived. Even though they may spontaneously share in the games and caprices of curiosity because they enjoy amusement themselves, they dislike being exploited or serving as accomplices in money making. Again, using the spiritual world to make money won't work well. Moreover, they are always providing they have their own will, and that they act however and whenever it seems best to them, which renders physical effects medium even less certain of the regularity of manifestations than writing mediums. Intending to produce then on certain days at certain times would show profound ignorance. We had some very strong physical effect mediums. We had Mirabelli, we had Douglas Home, we had others, and they did wonders to a naked eye. For someone that who never studied a bit the Spiritism or tried to understand a bit, they were doing something impossible. But through the Spiritism, through the serious study and analysis, we know what they were doing. Some people, they had more sensibility to do so, and then become easier through them. So what can they do to ensure money? Basically, what he's saying here is that as I cannot ensure that every Monday, 10 o'clock in the evening, the spirits will be there to make the show where I make some money, what can I do to make money when they are not there? Fraudulently simulate the phenomena. That is what some may resort to. Not only those who accept such occupation, but also even apparently simple individuals who think it is a much easier way to make a living than having to work for it. All good examples we had on the Spiritism so far, they had a profession, they work hard, and the mediumship they use after working hours. Trying to make a living from the spirits or from the mediumship is not going to end well. Not at all. And there are many ways people try to dissimulate, but falls into this category. We need to be very careful, very careful. If an actual spirit doesn't produce anything, they make up for it in another way. The imagination is very fertile when it comes to making money. Since required payment is a legitimate motive for suspicion, that on itself is justification for a strict examination, which should offend no one without justifying such suspicions. However, this suspicion is a legitimate in case of payment, as it is offensive in relation to honorable and disinterested individuals. From time to time, we speak with people. People come to us asking for some advice, or they want to know our point of view in regard to so many different things. And one of the things that I used to say very often, if you're going to a institution, to a person, and they ask for money, run away from it. Run away from it. There is something wrong. And I truly encourage everyone to do what I just suggest. Because on the Spiritism, there is not a single line in Kardec's work that encouraged me to do that, to ask for money. Not a single one. I could not see so far any line encourage me to charge for a lecture, to charge for this, to charge for anything. I did not see anything like that. Maybe I'm not studying enough to find those points in Kardec, but I could not find anything like that. Even when restricted to physical manifestations, mediumship has not been granted for putting on shows. Those who think that spirits are under their orders for public exhibitions may rightly be suspected of charlatanism or skillful, sleight of hand. Let us always remember this when we see ads for spiritism or spiritualist seances with paid admissions. And remember what we will get when attending those shows. If we decide to go to a place like that, we know that the outcome is what you paid for. All right? From everything we have said, we may conclude that absolute disinterestedness in profit is the best guarantee. Absolute disinterestedness in profit is the best guarantee against charlatanism. For if it does not always ensure the veracity of intelligent communications, it at least deprives evil spirits of a powerful means of action and shuts the mouth of certain detractors. This is not a formula, right? We may face situations where may vary from what he's saying here, but that's a good way to minimize our exposure for something that is not that positive. That is a way to prevent us to fall into a trap. Well, it's almost our time here to pass to our colleagues, but I want to finish. Let me just stop sharing. I just want to finish our study today saying one thing. Nowadays, we can even buy toys that can play with the spiritual world. You can buy on the shops things that we can use a glass to communicate, to see things. You can buy Ouijas, that is the table with the letters where you can flick. So it is also a business, right? Someone is profiting from this. But as ever, do not buy that for your kids or your grandkids, because there's something behind that. There's something serious behind that. And the consequences is something that sometimes the public cannot predict. But us, with a little bit of knowledge of spiritism, we can. So we do not encourage people to do that. Because if something is moving, is changing a bit, it's because there is someone they cannot see or sense behind that. And possibly you are attracting something to your homes that you don't want. Hi, Munia.
Hi, Guilherme. Very quickly, I just want to add, since we also mentioned fundraising in the Spiritist Center for a project, we should also be careful not to put that at the first place before the service that is offered in the Spiritist Center. Otherwise, very easily, we will slip into charging for things that we shouldn't be charging at all. So, if we want to do a fundraising for a certain project or purpose, we should be very careful not to put that before anything else within the activities that group has.
Yeah, I'll give you just one example, Munir. Some of people that are joining the Spiritist Center, they are coming from different beliefs, different habits. And some places they ask for money as a first thing, right? And sometimes they come to the Spiritist Center with a goodwill to help. I would like to make a donation for the institution. Let's talk a bit here. You want to help? Yes. Let's do a thing. Thursday evenings, 9:00 p.m., we always do a run on the city center where there is a lot of people starving. If you want to help, buy food and come with us to share. You're helping already. And then you start to identify who really wants to help for help, or it's just a habit of something you brought from whenever you came, So we need to be very careful. That would be my last word for today. So I can see Lolita is here. I can see Rafael is here. So it's all yours.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Greetings to all of you. I missed you last week, but I couldn't be here, but here I am. As usual, if there's anybody who is kind of new here, on Saturdays after the study, we do a special moment of vibration and irradiation. So I'll invite everybody to join us or join me in this prayer. So let's all close our eyes, relax, and follow me in thought. As we together elevate our vibration, we open our hearts and open our minds and allow ourselves to generate from our hearts a wave of energy that guided, connected with the higher spheres, with the guidance of our benefactors, our mentors. We direct this plea to Jesus, our loving Master, and to God, our loving Father, asking them to multiply this intention in a way that reaches out across this planet, bringing the invigorating, renewed energy to the many of our brothers and sisters who are in situations of suffering, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. Many groups going through the tests and the challenges of losing everything that they have, the bit of comfort that they have, being put to test on regions of conflict, facing the challenges of natural disasters, situations of abuse. In many cases, the despair takes over. So we ask our Master in this moment to bring to them the breath of fresh air, the moment of a peaceful mind, renewal of ideas that even for a second allow them to feel the consolation and the comfort that they have within them from the immortal beings that they are, the understanding and the hope that whatever they are going through right now is temporary. The strength and the courage that they have within them to carry on, to find the solutions, to understand which approach guide them through in the best way possible through this moment, the light that will guide them across any place of darkness. May they be enveloped in this moment by your loving energy so that they understand and feel the support that is available to them. Likewise, we ask you to encourage the many volunteers and helpers, the ones that are truly living by the idea of the charitable life. May they be encouraged and supported so that they can maintain in their hearts the faith that a brighter future is coming for all of us. We are grateful, my Lord, for this moment, for the opportunity of understanding, and for you, for hearing our appeal. In your name, we ask to conclude this moment, knowing that you are always with us. Thank you, and so be it.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Looking forward to see you all next week.
Amen.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Take care.
Thank you.